Imagine waking up to the sound of waves, stepping onto your deck with a steaming mug of coffee, and seeing a crowd of strangers traipsing down your private beach path, led by the HOA president, who's waving around like she owns the place. That's exactly what happened to me, Ellie Morgan, a 46-year-old graphic designer in Sunset Cove, North Carolina, when I realized my dream beach house was at the center of a scam that had turned my quiet life upside down. What started as a fight to keep my private beach turned into a battle that exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud and left the HOA president wishing she'd never messed with me. I'm not one for confrontation, never have been. I'd rather sketch seascapes or tend my dune garden than argue with neighbors. But that morning, when I saw Linda Carver, the HOA president, strutting down my path with a shiny new sign that read Sunset Cove Residence Beach Access, open daily, I nearly dropped my mug. I'd spent my life savings on this house 5 years ago, specifically for that path, a secluded trail I'd built myself, winding through sea oats to a pristine stretch of sand. It was my sanctuary, my reason for waking up smiling. And now, without a word, the HOA was claiming it for everyone. I threw on flip-flops, stormed down my steps, and called out, "Hey, Linda, this is my property." The group froze, faces a mix of confusion and irritation. Linda turned, her platinum bob glinting in the sun, and flashed a smile like we were at a PDA bake sale. "Oh, Ellie, good morning. I'm just showing folks our new community amenity." Her hand swept toward my path. The boards opened it to all residents, 8 a.m. to sunset. I blinked, heart racing. "This isn't yours to open. It's mine. I've got the deed." Linda's smile tightened, her eyes flicking to the group. "Now, let's not bore everyone with details. The beach access has always been shared, dear. You must have misunderstood when you bought." A guy in the back piped up, "Yeah, we've used this path for years." I shook my head, voice shaking. "Nobody used it till I built it. My design, my money, my maintenance." Linda waved a hand, dismissive. The board voted unanimously. "Ellie, file a complaint if you want, but let's move on." She turned back to the group. "Now, who's excited for our beach picnic this weekend?" They shuffled off, leaving me fuming on my own land. I wasn't dreaming. This was real, and it was wrong. I dug through my office, found my property survey, and there it was, the path, clear as day, within my boundaries all the way to the high tide line. No easement, no shared access, nothing. I checked my security cam. Linda and 2 guys had snuck in at dawn to plant that sign, thinking I wouldn't notice. By noon, I'd yanked it down and stashed it by my shed, but I knew this wasn't over. Sure enough, my doorbell rang. Nate Rivera, HOA vice president, stood there, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Ellie, Diane's upset about the sign. Says it's HOA property." I spread my survey on the table. "Nate, this path's mine. Linda showed you guys a fake map, didn't she?" He frowned, studying my papers. "She said there's a community easement from '95. I leaned in. "Did anyone check the county? I built this path. If there was an easement, it'd have shown up when I bought." Nate shifted. "Linda handled the records. She's pushy since she took over last month." I raised an eyebrow. "Pushy how?" He sighed. "She's got big plans. Beach parties, newsletters hyping the path. People are stoked." I groaned. "She's planning a party on my land?" Nate nodded, sheepish. "Saturday. You didn't get the email?" I hadn't, but I checked the HOA site later. There was my path, front and center, with fake tiki torches photoshopped in. "Join us for the Sunset Cove Beach Bash," it crowed. My blood boiled. That night, my neighbor Clara texted, "HOA meetings voting on path upgrades. Benches, lights, $20,000 budget. You coming?" I grabbed my survey and raced to the community center. Linda was mid-pitch, projector glowing with plans for my path. "With these upgrades, we'll boost property values," she beamed. I stood, voice cutting through. "This path's private property, Linda. I never agreed to this." The room went quiet. Linda's smile didn't waver, but her eyes were daggers. "Ellie, let's talk privately." I held up my survey. "No. Everyone needs to know. You're planning construction on my land." Murmurs rippled. Linda laughed tight. "Our records show it's community property. Just a mix-up." I offered my papers. Anyone want to see the truth? A few folks leaned in, but Linda called a recess, dragging me to a side room. Her mask dropped. You're embarrassing yourself, Ellie. The last owner got how communities work. I snapped back. They didn't build the path. I did with my own cash. She smirked. Our lawyer will handle it. Don't touch our signs again. As she stormed out, she left a folder. Inside, a Coastal Crest developer's brochure, hyping exclusive beach access for unbuilt condos. My path was their selling point. This wasn't about picnics. It was about profit. Next morning, Linda showed up with 2 HOA goons, ready to reinstall the sign. You're violating Covenant 7 by removing HOA property, she said, thrusting fake easement papers at me. The map looked legit, but the signature was smudged, dated 95. This doesn't match my county survey, I said, blocking my door. I'll verify it. Linda's eyes flashed. That won't be necessary. Step aside, or face $200 daily fines. I stood firm. Talk to my lawyer. She huffed off, but I knew she'd be back. I called my friend Zoe, a real estate attorney. Ellie, don't let them touch your land, she warned. Send me those papers. Something's off. I slapped up a private property, legal dispute pending sign, and added a trail cam. 2 hours later, Clara texted, cruise at your path with lumber. I ran out, found Linda with a suit, Greg Holt from Coastal Crest, overseeing workers unloading an excavator. What's this? I demanded. Linda's smile was syrupy. Beach accessibility upgrades, Ellie. Meet Greg, our partner. I stepped in front of the crew, phone recording. This is my land. No permits, no work. Greg frowned. Linda, you said this was cleared. She snapped, stop filming. It's against HOA rules. I kept rolling. We're on my property, Linda. Greg, check the county records or your company's in a trespassing lawsuit. Greg waved his crew off. We're pausing till this is sorted. Linda glared as they left, but I caught neighbors watching, whispering. That evening, Nate and Mrs. Alma Tate, a 70-year-old Cove lifer, knocked. Alma's got something to say, Nate said. She unfolded a 1978 developer map. No community access on your lot, Ellie. The planned path was 3 blocks south. Never built, too much erosion. I hugged her. Will you write a statement? She grinned. Already did. Nate added. Our HOA archivist couldn't find Linda's easement in old files, but she was alone in the record room last month. Weird, right? Alma snorted. That woman's trouble. Try to limit pool hours for her yoga clique. Zoe called later, voice urgent. No easement on record, Ellie. Linda's papers are fake. And get this, she and her husband, Paul, tried to buy her house before you, but got outbid. Paul's legal counsel for Coastal Crest, pushing a condo project that needs your beach to connect their lots. My jaw dropped. This was personal and a land grab. Saturday's beach bash was a nightmare. 60 people, tents, a grill scorching my dune grass. Linda claimed I'd been invited. Officer Hayes, her golf buddy, shrugged off my trespassing complaint. Civil matter, ma'am. Trash littered my beach after. Cans, toys, a stray sandal bobbing in the surf. I spent hours cleaning, only to find more folks using my path daily, citing the HOA newsletter. Someone hooked my hose to a kiddie pool, spiking my water bill. My gate latch broke, my zinnias got plucked for picnic decor, and a family staked a volleyball net in my lawn. My private property signs vanished. Then came the construction. Linda's brother-in-law, Kyle Vance, led a crew building a community pavilion on my beach. Got permits from the city manager. He smirked, flashing an HOA stamped paper. I called the city. They confirmed the permit, but I blocked the crew. This isn't legal. I'm verifying it. Kyle laughed. Take it up with Linda. A surveyor showed up next, spraying orange lines for a 25-foot easement that had sliced through my patio. HOA's widening the path for golf carts, he said. My deed confused him. This doesn't match their map. That night, Linda led a sunset tour, pointing at my land. Cabana's here, golf cart parking there. I shouted from my deck, you're trespassing. She turned to her group. Some folks just lack community spirit. A stranger yelled, stop hogging the beach. I felt like I was losing my mind. How was I the villain? I broke down, tears soaking my pillow, but my dad's voice echoed. When you're right, you fight. I called Zoe. I need you to bury them. Zoe's office was lined with HOA busting plaques. She pored over my papers. Your deeds, ironclad, Ellie. Let's get a new survey and an injunction. 3 days later, she called giddy. You own 20 extra feet of beach where Linda's pavilion sits. And the permit? It's for a private cabana in Linda's name, not the HOA's. She's using $90,000 of community funds for her own beach house. I gasped. On my land? Zoe nodded. Paul's tied to Coastal Crest, planning condos that need your path. Linda knew it was private. 2 years ago, she voted against a similar access plan, citing your ownership. Zoe dug deeper. HOA minutes showed Linda's fraud, and Coastal Crest permits hinged on your beach. This is a land grab, she said. We need more proof. Mr. Amos Reed, a retired HOA board member, met us at a diner. Linda's been shady, he whispered, handing over financial records. Money vanishes into special projects, no receipts. I got booted for asking questions. Zoe's new survey confirmed my extended beachfront. We filed for an injunction, but that night, I saw lights on my beach. Creeping closer, I recorded Linda, Paul, and Kyle with blueprints. Once we lock in community use, Paul said, Coastal Crest pays triple. Ellie'll sell cheap when her property tanks. My hand shook. This was it. Zoe got the injunction next morning, but the crew had poured a concrete slab overnight, trying to cement their claim. They're betting you'll quit, Zoe said. I gritted my teeth. Not happening. The emergency HOA meeting was electric. Every seat taken, air thick with tension. Linda was mid-speech when I walked in with Zoe and the county surveyor. We need to clear something up, I said, projector firing on my survey. Zoe took over. Ellie owns the path and 20 feet of beach where Linda's building her private cabana with your $90,000. The crowd gasped. Amos stood. I paid extra dues for that beach. Zoe flashed bank records, permits in Linda's name, and my photos of her Coastal Crest meetings. Her husband works for developers planning condos. On your homes, I said, showing their plans. Linda lunged for her bag, but papers spilled. Condo blueprints, a demolition timeline targeting my house in weeks. You sold us out. Mrs. Carter, a teacher, yelled. Amos called for a vote. Remove the board. Freeze accounts. Hand shot up. Linda slipped a flash drive to Paul, but I saw it. As security escorted them out, I grabbed Zoe. That drives everything. The flash drive was gold. Emails plotting the land grab. Fake easements, $2.5 million in offshore accounts. Linda and Paul were arrested fleeing the country. 6 months later, a new HOA meeting led by Amos, I proposed limited path access via a gated system, with the HOA covering maintenance. The room cheered. Restitution from Linda's lawsuit built a real community beach half a mile away. Her embezzled beach mansion, now a community center where I teach our classes. Neighbors apologized, though some still dodge me at the market. Kyle admitted Linda promised him a board seat. Water under the bridge. I told him, but it stung. One evening, Judge Clara Ruiz, who'd sentenced Linda to 16 years, walked my path. You saved more than your beach, Ellie, she said, waves crashing. Communities nationwide are auditing HOAs because of you. My new sign, private property, limited community access, glowed in the dusk. Was it worth the fight? Linda's greed was obvious, but did I alienate too many neighbors? Could I have compromised sooner? I don't know. What I do know is my beach is mine, and Sunset Cove stronger for it. What do you think? Should I have shared the path or fought tooth and nail? Drop a comment, share your story. I'm all ears. If you've battled an HOA, hit subscribe. This is Ellie Morgan from Sunset Cove, where the sand's free, and so are we.